Hi, I'm Jennifer, the academic designer. Today, I'm here with graduate student Jazmine Benjamin. Hi, Jasmine, how are you?
I'm doing well, Jennifer. How are you?
I'm doing great. So, you are a cellular and molecular biology student at University of Alabama. Tell me a bit about your work there.
Sure. So I'm actually at the University of Alabama at Birmingham. Uh,
Okay.
so we're at Birmingham, Alabama instead of Tuscaloosa, but not too far away. I work in the lab of Dr. Elizabeth Stuhl, and our lab focuses mostly on protein degradation and membrane trafficking in the context of the secretory pathway. So my project right now is more on the membrane trafficking side of things, and I'm trying to create kind of a gene interaction network for this previously unexplored gene that we're interested in.
Very interesting. And what does the gene do, or what is it a marker of?
Sure, it's a marker for the Golgi apparatus, which is kind of, as we call it in kind of introductory biology, the UPS center of the cell. And it is involved in the earlier part of the secretory pathway. So the packaging of proteins and the interaction between the endoplasmic reticulum, where proteins are folded and put into their working kind of configuration, and the Golgi apparatus, where that packaging begins to send that protein or that message out of the cell.
Hmm. And is this something that you are able to talk about and find a network of people that you can relate to on social media for?
I find a lot of people that work kind of either upstream of what I do, so on the endoplasmic reticulum as far as protein
Hmm.
folding, or people that work downstream of what I do, more of the actual secretion act itself. But it's kind of a not a super not a super popular area of research currently. But I found a couple people via
Yeah.
social media that are interested in the same thing.
But that also means that having your voice out there is so important because there need to be more people talking about it.
Of course.
So, what social media platforms do you currently use?
I currently use Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. I think that's it. I had a Snapchat, but I deleted it. So,
I think a lot of people have gone that route, especially with Instagram stories coming out
yeah, yeah,
and Facebook stories or whatever. Do you use LinkedIn?
I do.
Yeah, I think LinkedIn is a good networking tool, but a little bit less social sometimes.
Yeah.
Do you talk about your work on social media?
I do sometimes. Like I said, my work isn't really that popular,
Right.
but I talk about my work a little, but I also find it really easy to talk to other people about their work. I've set up one or two kind of co-projects with other students via Twitter, actually. So I've been able to kind of interact with other people in my field who are doing something related and offer
Wow.
advice to them on their projects and vice versa.
Oh, that's so great. How did you approach that?
I would either one of my followers or someone I followed would retweet a story from that person, and
Mhm.
then I would kind of reply to that story and ask them a question, or I would send them a direct message and say, I saw your tweet about insert project here, and I saw that you were having an issue with this. Maybe I could help, and then we just went from there.
I love that. Sometimes, directly connecting on social media can be a great way to just be like, hey, I think our work is kind of related. We should chat. That's a great way to network.
Yeah, it is. It's been. I didn't have a Twitter until maybe August of this year, and I've realized that I've enjoyed my research a lot more since I got one.
Oh, that's really interesting. So you find that it's a kind of tool that you're using in order to kind of build that network, that scholarly network.
Exactly.
I love that. Do you use social media then for personal connections and family and friends?
I do. I use my Facebook more for that. So I have a lot of friends and family that I connect with via Facebook and Instagram. But kind of my Instagram is kind of half and half between work and my family. My Twitter is more towards work, and then my Facebook is more geared toward my family.
Yeah, I find a lot of people like separating those kinds of audiences by platform. Twitter is definitely a great one to connect with a larger network. And I think a
Yeah.
lot of people use Facebook for those kinds of close network connections.
Hmm.
Is Twitter your favorite social media platform?
I think Twitter is probably it's probably a close tie between Twitter and Instagram. just because of the ease of use and how quickly you can access everything.
Absolutely.
Facebook, I really only have it to communicate with my family that I don't see that often.
Mm-hmm.
If they had a Twitter and Instagram, I probably wouldn't have Facebook, to be honest.
Yeah, I think that's true for a lot of people. Facebook is becoming less conversational now too, I find.
Yeah.
So your Twitter profile says that you're interested in science policy outreach and advocacy. I'm curious if you use social media for that at all. Do you share articles or information that you find?
Yes, so I share a few things that I see related to science policy, particularly things that the NIH may be doing. I also have coordinated with actually someone from Vanderbilt University in the last month to try to get a science policy group started at my university. So they have a science policy group, and I spoke with them about who I should contact about starting a branch of my own here.
Oh, wow.
And so I've used Twitter for that as kind of the most recent and most important thing so far.
Yeah, I think that that's a fantastic way of using Twitter, trying to find out what other communities are doing that's working for them and using those ideas to create even more communities. I love that.
Absolutely.
Are you involved in a lot of things on campus as well?
I'm slowly becoming more involved in things as I kind of get into the middle of my second year. So I currently am helping out with a more of a science outreach project where the biology department at our university goes to local public schools and just teaches them a hands-on science lesson.
Oh,
Um,
that's great.
it's good because we are scientists, so when they have more nitpicky questions, we're able to field those better than maybe their teacher would be able to.
Hmm.
But it's also really fun to see kids who are genuinely excited about science, and to be able to get them even more excited about it while teaching them something is always fun.
And that is so important. Getting kids excited about learning about science is something that is really difficult to do unless you're so into it yourself that you can have that excitement. And so I think that's wonderful that you're going into the school systems to do that. Let's see. I wanted to ask, since you recently joined Twitter, just this last August, you said, what advice would you give to someone who's thinking about joining?
Um, just join and be patient. Um, See if they're when you join, I think it gives you the opportunity to kind of check the things that you're interested in,
Hmm.
but so just kind of take some time to just explore and click on headlines that interest you and kind of follow through threads that look interesting and just follow people. I have probably 3 times more people that I follow than I do followers. And I'm not someone who gets really wrapped up in how many followers I have, but the people that I do follow that follow me back, we often at some point end up interacting with each other, and that's led to some very valuable relationships.
It sounds like it. It sounds like you've managed to create some really fruitful connections from just chatting with people on Twitter.
I have.
What would you say would be good advice for someone who's thinking about approaching someone over direct message?
I think it's always good to just introduce yourself first. So I always tell people, obviously they can click on my profile and get the information that they need, but I always introduce myself by name. And if I'm talking to them about something related to my field, I'll tell them that I'm a cell molecular biologist and what university I'm at. And then I will pose my question to them and just let them know that they can get back to me whenever they're free, because a lot of people on Twitter are still quite busy, even though we may not seem like it. And then I'm patient and I wait for their response. And if I don't get a response, there's no hard feelings, but generally I do.
Have you ever followed up when you haven't gotten a response?
I have. There was one person, they posted it was a lab Twitter, and they posted a paper that was relevant to my project at the time.
Hmm.
And I asked them if I could speak to one of the students in their lab that did the experiment. And they directed me to him, and we kind of started messaging back and forth, but he never responded. So then I just asked him for his email address or an easier way to be able to contact him. And we actually ended up speaking on the phone for an hour or two, and he kind of helped me figure out this hump that I was going through in my project.
I love that. So even though it felt like almost a misconnection, you reached out again and were able to connect and actually got the information that you needed.
Yeah.
That's really great. Can I ask, who's your favorite person to follow on social media? Like, who's someone that you admire for what they share about their science or about what they post?
Ooh, that's a difficult one. I actually follow a lot of, I guess we would call them maybe organizations or groups.
Yeah,
One of the tags I follow is hashtag Black in STEM, because I am an African American in STEM, and there's not a whole lot of us. It's a
absolutely.
interesting hashtag to follow on Twitter. I've met a lot of people that I've had some connections with that way. I also like the First Gen Docs Twitter page. It's full of students who are first generation doctoral students, meaning that their parents, they're the first in their family that to pursue a PhD, and we share a lot of advice about just getting through your degree and how you can make it even if you're the first person in your family to do it. And they often have little Twitter chats that are always interesting, and I meet a lot of people that way also.
I love that. Yeah, Twitter chats are a great way to actually find people who want to engage and want to have conversations. Both of those hashtags that you mentioned are so important for social activism and for finding community. So, have you found friends that you've connected with about other topics through those hashtags?
I have. I have. I don't quite know if we're friends or not. I guess we're internet friends. But I have a few people that, when I post or when they post, we might kind of respond to each other's posts and
Yeah,
say, hey, happy that happened for you, or sorry that happened, or, things will get better, that kind of stuff. So yeah, I've met
absolutely.
quite a few people through those hashtags.
I love that. Yeah, finding community is so important. And I think that it wasn't until I found those pockets of people that had similar interests and similar goals that I was able to enjoy social media.
Yeah.
It's why I stayed off Twitter so long. Why did you stay off Twitter until this past August?
I had a Twitter when I was an undergrad, but I wasn't really using it for anything productive.
Hmm.
It really just got to be more of a distraction than something that was helping me.
Yeah.
So I came back when I had more of a purpose for being on there rather than just talking to my friends that I would see all day anyway.
Right. So coming back was a decision that you felt like you wanted to share or connect, that was partially based on your work. Is that correct?
Exactly.
I love that. That's such an interesting way of thinking about it. And it's the same reason why I decided to join Twitter. I mean, I feel like people told me for years to get on academic Twitter, and I just had this kind of resistance to it. And I'm so glad that I did. Is there anything else that you would like to highlight or share that you have upcoming in the next coming couple of months?
For me as a PhD student, the semester doesn't really end. Classes do, but I still have to go to lab. So right now, the whole university is kind of winding down, so there's not a whole lot going on. But I do hope to be able to get our science policy group started. Hopefully next semester I'll be able to kind of start planning things out, and then next fall we'll be able to get some more formalized events going on. Other than that, I don't have much going on.
Well, I look forward to hearing if that group gets started, and I will be sure to check in with you in the spring because I want to hear how it's going.
Of course, thank you so much.